Now, we have known that 2020 has been a tough year, from the pandemic to people struggling to find work. But the plus side is that the year is almost over and we're looking toward 2021. Here to give us some tips on how to face the new year with more purpose is Troy Nix. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. It's great to be with you today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. So first question, 2020, we know it's been difficult. We've all been going through it for many, if not most people. How can we find hope, with these last, however many days we have left for the year when it's been so challenging over this entire year?
How about just the concept of let's look at where we are right now in 2020 and say we've got about six weeks to go, and begin to look at what's right around the corner, 2021. And one of the things I tell my staff, and I was just on a Zoom call with about 400 people yesterday, and that's the concept of we have to look at the overall placement of where we are today. And when I talk about hope, it's that concept of you generate your own hope. And so I think that when you look forward, you have to understand where you are right now today and where you want to be, and just literally try to understand where your thought process is and how you can be more hopeful in the future.
This year, everyone, I'm sure, probably started the year with all these New Year's goals, and then the pandemic hit not too many months afterwards. How can you still kind of have that hope, maybe if you haven't even completed many of your New Year's resolutions this year?
Yeah, the concept of setting goals is very, very important. And I think for many of us, all those goals got wiped out in the first 3 months coming into 2020. And one of the things that I've been trying to do is reestablish. It's interesting, about 6 weeks ago, I fell down a flight of stairs and I broke 2 of my ribs. And it's totally taken away my ability to work out. And I love working out. And I was actually getting ready for an extensive competition. All got wiped away from me. And it was interesting because during a brief coffee chat with my wife, and she looked at me and she said, instead of looking in the past, why don't you look in the future and establish another goal and start striving for it today? And it was interesting because as soon as she said that, I realized that, yeah, that actually gave me some hope. And I thought to myself, this last incident that I had totally wiped away what I was working for. But now that she established that in my mindset of I've got a new goal, and as soon as I did that, it gave me a little bit of hope. And right now, man, I'm trying to get back in shape again so I can hopefully have my personal best in the month of March. So it is very important. We have to have those goals out there and something that we're working for, because that helps to establish hope, most definitely.
One of the things you have been talking about is hope and purpose. What are some things that people can do to try and have that hope, discover their purpose in the last remaining months of this year and then looking forward to next year?
Well, I think, first of all, it's very important to understand that where do you sit right now in your life relative to purpose? Yesterday, when I was talking to a group of professionals, I asked people, when's the last time you really sat in a room and looked in the mirror and said, what gives me that fuel in my life? I know my purpose and my company's purpose is we try to help executives. We try to lessen the burdens of people in a business environment. And that gives me an intense amount of fuel in my system. So I'd have to ask the viewing audience, have you sat down recently in silence or meditation and thought to yourself, what really gives me fuel? And try to put more of that in your life. So oftentimes we're in it, we're trying to make a living, we're trying to make money, and sometimes that's a grind. But what really gives you fuel and happiness, and can you integrate a little bit of that, a little bit more of that in your life to brighten things up? Because I'll tell you what, happier people tend to be a little bit more hopeful. So where is that fuel coming from that gives you that happiness and that gives you that, hey, I'm looking forward to tomorrow syndrome?
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing us how we can have some hope looking forward to the last couple months of this year.
That's awesome. Just a real quick statement here for all your viewing audience. Think about this concept of gratitude, because when you show gratitude turns what we have into enough.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Troy.
See you.